Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Allison, and we are from Get Online NOLA.
Today we're talking about marketing your business in the off-season.
So we're based in New Orleans, which is a very tourism-heavy city. So for us, off-season is during like the heat of summer when it's hot, humid, barely tolerable for us. We don't get a lot of tourists. But say you are in like a wintry location where you have like a ski resort, then the off-season is probably more of like the fringe seasons, like spring and maybe fall, where you have, nice weather for summer activities, great weather for winter activities, but the in-between is like not as many people coming in.
A lot of small businesses experience a downturn in revenue during the off-season. There's opportunity for businesses to maintain their revenue throughout the off-season.
So there are three main ways that you can maintain revenue during off-season. The first way is to really attract your local audience. The second way is to bring in more events during the off-season that make sense for the season. And third is through e-commerce. A great way to target locals during off-season is to adjust your business accordingly. So for example, in New Orleans, what we have a lot during the summers is that restaurants will have a specific summer menu. It means that they order less food, so there's less overhead for them, and they have a special, smaller menu just for the summer months. So these small menus, even though there's less options for the customers, they do still feel exciting because it's new, different dishes that they probably can't get during the rest of the year. So highlighting these special items that they can only get during off-season is a really great way to bring in locals.
Another great way that you can target a local audience is to hold events or festivals during that time. One of my all-time favorite events in New Orleans is White Linen Night, and that takes place in the dead of summer. This is a time where locals can all come out, celebrate art and community in New Orleans. This is a great time for restaurants to introduce their new summer menu, and also a good time for local artists to display their artwork.
So another great way to use events during off-season is to create brand new events to bring in tourists. We have two really fun examples of this. The first one is in Utah at Zion National Park. Their normal busy season is during the winter when there's like snowboarding, skiing, all sorts of winter sports to do. So what they've done is started including summer sports in their lineup. So now they have baseball and soccer tournaments that come in. It brings in new tourists during a time that was usually pretty slow. Another example is from Sevier County in Tennessee. They used to have their off-season during the winter where not as many tourists would come in, and then they created Winterfest, this whole big festival that is only during the winter to bring their tourists back in when it's normally a little bit slow.
Bringing the shopping experience online is another way that you can increase revenue during off-season. We have a client in the French Quarter that sells souvenirs to tourists that now see 60% of their revenue coming from their online store.
So it's really important for them not only to be able to work with their customers in person in the French Quarter as they can get them, but now they can also reach a much wider audience online.
Right, and that leaves opportunity for remarketing too.
Exactly.
And e-commerce isn't just for businesses with a physical product. We've seen this work for restaurants and other service-based industries. Restaurants can sell catering and gift cards through an e-commerce store.
This makes it really helpful to bring in new revenue that you wouldn't necessarily get in store. So let's say somebody's taking a vacation and they have a friend who buys them a nice little gift card to a restaurant that they really want to try when they're visiting.
A great example of a service-based industry brought online is a tour guide company.
So usually tour guides rely really heavily on foot traffic, especially from tourists. They're walking by and they want to get a tour of the French Quarter is something that we see a lot. But a way that they can bring their business online is selling, for instance, an ebook about the French Quarter. That way when people are planning their vacations, which they're not generally doing during the busy season, that they can read up and support your business at the same time before actually coming and visiting in person.
Right, and the ebook is a great lead generation tool, especially if you're asking for their email address.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you learned a lot about off-season marketing.
Visit us at getonlinenola.com for more information.